political hooliganism meted on Matiang'i's car in Chwele after Bungoma rally is backward, outdated, stupid, just to say the least. I've always used those words when I am analyzing political hooliganism. And founder members of this channel know that when it comes to hooliganism, I always don't support. Because it irritates me. You know, I was also once a journalist. So I was also once active kwa ground. And hiyo kitu inauma sana, by the way, let me tell you. Na hiyo kitu ni mbaya sana. Because huwezi jua mayo itapata nani. Yes. Throwing stones on people's convoy. What happened in Chwele is a provocative agenda with a sinister motive. And why would someone target Matiang'i on such? In this podcast, I'm going to look at the drama in Bungoma today. And also, because this is the video I'm doing after the 2 days trip of the 2 days tour of the opposition politicians, we're also going to look at the Western effect after that team. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos, and thank you very much for supporting this podcast. We do this each and every day because of your support. The Western tour by opposition politicians was the first ever political rally for Matiang'i outside Kisii. Active political rally outside Kisii, especially going kwa ground, meeting the people directly. I know you will tell me that Matiang'i was in Wamunyoro. Wamunyoro was an event yenye ilipangwa ikiwa tu amekaa venue moja. So roadside stopovers, that was the first one for Matiang'i. Secondly, it was also the first time that Rigathi Gachagua is making serious wanton inroads in Western Kenya. And something happened. When they were heading to Kakamega, there were goons that attacked the convoy of those of the opposition politicians. And it had to take Matiang'i. Matiang'i was the one who was directly attacking, of course, calling out politicians who planned such a motive. Today, the 4th of July, the opposition team made their way to Bungoma town. And I want you to look at the Bungoma crowds. These crowds are coming out. One, it is a message that there is something. I've always said, even if, and you'll tell me, even if William Ruto goes there today, they will still get the same crowd. One, these crowds show there is something the people want to hear. And they always come out because they want to hear something new. But two, the one-time euphoria in the presence of Brigadier Matiang'i is a key player there. Remember, Natembea and Eugene are actually frequent faces there. So the new faces there were only Rigathi and Matiang'i. Of course, since Rigathi was impeached. Bungoma town came out in its numbers, really demanding, really putting out a message out there. And it's a message that the one-time euphoria is actually a reality. Where I paid attention to Bungoma is, this is where William Ruto got more votes. Especially if you look at the western counties, this is the county that, and many of us argue, that this is where it is Wetangula that made Raila to lose the 2020 general election. Bungoma also is a Ford Kenya zone, and so Ford Kenya declined to fold to join ANC, UDA. And because of that, Natembeya has been targeting Bungoma to be the second county where the Tawe movement can actually gain its footing after Trans Nzoia. So, and I can tell you in the opposition matrix, if they can be able to get Trans Nzoia and Bungoma, then really they shall have really cut William Ruto's footing. If they manage to cut, they shall have really achieved something. So they were really targeting Bungoma. And in Bungoma also, there have been leadership wrangle of DAPK, where Natembeya wants to take over as the DAPK leader. I think if I am allowed to take a minute to talk to Natembeya, Natembeya should allow Eugene to remain the party leader, probably takes a deputy party leader or a secretary general position or a more senior position, and just remains within the DAPK so that he does not destabilize that opposition house. Local internal wrangles is not gonna help them. We understand when they got there, I wanted to listen to the speech by Wetangula, by Rigathi.
Bungoma oye! Wacha nimusalimia ile uongo ya Kasongo. Musangarire! Musangarire! Morevaramu! Ni muongo si muongo? Watu wetu wa Bungoma. Hi cousins! Hi cousins! Hi kuzo! Makazini hi! Hapa ni one time. Harambe! Wewe Ruto! Wewe Kasongo! Wewe Zakayo! Wewe Kaongo! Wewe mwizi! Wewe muuaji! Wewe mtu ya kutenga! Harambe! Kasongo ende asiende? Wangapi wanasema Kasongo ende, Kasongo ende? Mimi tumekuja hapa na Justin Muturi. Tumetumwa na watu ya mlima. Pale mlimani tumefungia Kasongo. Kifunguo iko na huyu Justin Muturi. Wewe Justin Muturi, hiyo kifunguo ikipotea utajibu hii watu ya Bungoma. Mimi nauliza watu ya Ingo, nataka mfunge hapa Bungoma. Mtupatie kifunguo tuende naye. Mutafunga? 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 Hiyo kifunguo ya Ingo ipatiwe Natembeya na Eugene Wamalwa na Kilio Malala. Mfungie Kasongo hapa. Mimi mnajua nilikuwa nakaa na Kasongo. Mimi nimekuja kuomba msamaha. Mimi Rigiji na watu ya mlima ndio tulipitisha Kasongo kuwa rais. Kwani ya mauongo?
Yes. He stormed. It was easy. It was the high cousin, and I showed you Luanda. Luanda erupted. The high cousin was in Bungoma, and he got away with it. And you could look at that reception. That reception was huge. And when Wetangula took the microphone, not Wetangula Natembeya, he actually took Wetangula head on. Natembeya is taking Wetangula head on, and it seems Wetangula cannot get away with it easily, even as he wishes. Wetangula will not be able to get away with it. You can despise him, but that Tawe movement will eat a chunk of the vote from Bungoma because it has really gripped that area. Now, two political observations I want us to make on that Western tour. Khalwale joined the rally in Trans Nzoia. Of course, he skipped the other rallies, the Luanda one, Butula, which is Busia, Kakamega, Bungoma. But in Trans Nzoia, he joined and was making clearly that his decamping is planning to defect to join that camp.
Mimi ni ule mmoja wao. Tuko hapa na Mheshimiwa Gachagua. Mheshimiwa Gachagua, mimi nilipiga kura uondolewe. Lakini nilipiga kura uondolewe ukuje tusaidie kutoa one term. Sasa hata kipindi uko tayari. Uko tayari. Uko tayari. Kwa ishara mikono ya watu wako tayari.
You know what's happening here? What's happening here is this. And let me make a political prediction. If today ODM finds Sifuna unfit to be in that party, Sifuna's next stop will be the opposition camp. And Khalwale joining that opposition team is a bad news to ODM because it is going to open that route. Oh, Khalwale ameenda. Khalwale ameenda. And we understand there are several other MPs from Bungoma who are vouching of defending their seats through the DAP Kenya party and DCP instead of UDA. There are reports of several other MPs who are really want to be part of this. But of course, they cannot make that political movement now because William Ruto is very vicious in terms of this revenge. I've always told you, these MPs normally have a lot of baggage in terms of zile vitu wamefanya vitu mbaya mbaya. They always have a lot of baggage. So it's normally not very easy for some of them to make some political moves. And the deputy party leader, not the deputy party leader, the deputy governor of Kakamega, Ayub Savula, skipped the rallies. There are reports that Boni Khalwale is amongst Western politicians. Boni is eyeing to face it off with Fernandez Baraza for Kakamega governor seat in 2027. And he's making his way to DAPK. Remember, the strongest DAPK, the only one DAPK MP was actually this man who was neutralized. Who is he? Salasia. Salasia made vying for presidency here. So Salasia was actually pulled out because he was the strongest DAPK person. The reason why Salasia was actually weakened, suppressed, he was the strongest DAPK leader in Kakamega. And it's not that Salasia being sought by the state and so that it can be suppressed and can be pulled out of the opposition is because he was actually making DAPK a very strong party in Kakamega. And now the reports that my friend Boni Khalwale could be angling the DAPK ticket for the governor's seat in Kakamega. The Senate Chief Whip has been vocal, calling out President Ruto whenever things are not right. Natembea is becoming an issue, and here is the Kakamega governor, Fernandez Baraza, picking a fight with the Natembea.
Tuko na jamaa wengine ambao wanaeneza siasa ya chuki na siasa ya ukabila. Jana walikuwa hapa Kakamega. Na mimi nataka kuambia ndugu yangu Natembea, you must respect Governor Italanyi. Lazima heshimu governor, si ndio? Na mimi nataka kuambia Natembea, you are so overrated. Nataka urudi hapa tena siku nyingine, ulete ujinga ambao uleta jana Kakamega. Mtakubali kweli? Nataka kuambia Natembea, hiyo ujinga uleta hapa jana peleka Trans Nzoia. Sisi watu wa Kakamega hatutakubali watu ambao wanaleta siasa za chuki hapa. Siasa ya ukabila. Siasa ambayo inagonganisha watu. Ndiposa naambia mtu ambaye anaitwa Natembea aenda atembelea wapi? Nataka urudi hapa mwenyewe, alafu tuonane mundu kumundu. Tumekubaliana hapo?
When these fellows left Bungoma, you can look at this video here. This was in Chwele. They were attacked by goons. And if you look at these goons here, a handful of people, I can always say, no one attacks political convoy if they are not paid and not mobilized. Hakuna mtu anatokanga kwake mimi naenda kuattack mtu. Hakunanga hiyo in politics. Attack barabara. Wangoje kwa barabara warushe mawe. Those are normally planned. And if you have to know it was something very dangerous is if you look at these cars. If you look at this one, hiyo mali imegongwa, that kioo imegongwa ni kioo ya nyuma, imeharibiwa. Someone was saying, you know, they planned it so that they get attention. Which attention? Where's the attention? So, hii gari iligongwa, and it is really reported that this is the vehicle that Natembea and Matian'gi were using. Of course, with the distorted number plates. So this was attacked. The other vehicle which was also targeted was the sound vehicle. And if you check this one here, why was sound vehicle targeted? This is the place that is carrying cameras and all that. So one thing would have happened is the live stream ingekuwa affected, but then you realize the live stream had a problem, especially one for Brigade. Live stream would be affected, and maybe then the rallies would not have gotten maybe a big bit of that coverage. So it was very clear that this incident was well planned and executed for a political objective. What is the target? What was the target? And you can see Matian'gi really got annoyed. He actually lost his temper talking to the state about such acts.
Sababu tunataka kuandamana na nyinyi katika safari ya kuleta mabadiliko katika nchi yetu. Yale maneno tumeona, wananchi munisikize. Yale maneno tumeona pale Chwele leo ni maneno ya ajabu. Yaani unaweza kufikiri kwamba nchi yetu baada ya miaka karibu 62 ya uhuru, eti kuna watu wako na ubongo wa kubanga watu kwenda kutuwekea mawe njiani pale, kuvunja magari vioo na mambo kama hayo, eti tusiingie hapa. Nyinyi mnakubali maneno kama hayo? Hao watu kweli hao ni watu wako na akili timamu? Hapana bwana. Sababu wananchi tumeamua, Kenya has chosen democracy. Sisi tunataka kila mtu awe na nafasi ya kuzuru sehemu yoyote ya Kenya, aongee na marafiki zake, afanye urafiki, kama ni kura aombe kura. Na wale tunataka kuambia hivi, kama wao wanataka kutembea Kenya, waache hiyo primitive behavior ya kukaa huko kwa kichaka na kuweka watu wa kutupa mawe, watembee Kenya, wakubaliane na waongee na Wakenya wengine. Ili wanao wachanuke, wajue vile dunia inaenda. Si nyinyi mumeamua? Mumeamua namna gani? Eti namna gani? Namna gani? Harambee! Haya, ndio hivyo. Mungu na awabariki. Asante sana.
That is the nature of our politics. But I used to say kwamba kama our politics is not still corporate as we want to make it look, want to believe it so. Our politics is not still very corporate. And we are not yet there. This goons targeted Matiang'i. I think someone is provoking Matiang'i to attack government. Remember, in the last interview, he was very corporate. And they've realized that he's so anakasirika sana na hizi vitu. These are not his thing. And they want, you know, remember, nowadays the opposition team only attacks Rigathi. But with Rigathi now coming out nationally and speaking to other people in the other regions, it is a bit delicate, and they might now also start thinking of attacking Matiang'i because they need to get who is their presidential candidate for the opposition so that they start attacking. So someone wants to provoke Matiang'i. There was also a clear intimidation tactic. Some people like Matiang'i are a bit, I know, can really get afraid of such. They've never been to such high-octane politics, and some also wanted to maybe deflect media attention. But what is the Western effect? What has the 2 days political tour in Western Kenya achieved for the opposition team? I'm seeing 3 achievements, or rather 3 objectives. Number 1, the one-time euphoria is getting out of Nairobi, Mount Kenya, and it's getting to those areas. Remember, we've been saying that, and that is why I want to believe the biggest beneficiary of the Western tour is actually Rigathi Gachagua. And at one point, I think was saying, Rigathi was the president and his team has always wanted to confine Rigathi to Mount Kenya. And you realize that in his events, there are always those incidences of hooliganism, of goons attacking his events here and there. So one person and the country, Rigathi Gachagua, the president, and his team have always branded Rigathi as a man who is only being heard in Mount Kenya. The only man who only talks about him in Mount Kenya. And that is why I'm even wondering the position politicians are, why the Ichungwas are also talking, and they are also talking about Rigathi. And lastly, I think Raila and Ruto will be disoriented about Western, because what opposition is saying is UDA and ODM, of course UDA is dead there. The only party that is there is still having an inch is UDA, is ODM. And the opposition, DAPK, I saw them, they're strong in Bungoma, they're targeted for in Busia. The position is giving there an alternative. And with Khalwale Bamisi decamping, defecting, one of the parties that is most hurt is ODM. And you can see in Rigathi Gachagua's speeches that I analyzed yesterday while in Bungoma, in Luanda, he said that Raila should not take the Luhya nation to William Ruto. The Luhya nation needs to be in the table. And by the way, that message is very powerful. That raundi msipelekwa kwa meza na mtu mwingine, these are the leaders. And Natembeya, Eugene, Malala are actually replacing Wetangula and Mudavadis, something that happened in Mount Kenya. And you know what? Mudavadi was strong and was commanding Western for long. But the fact that he's been in government, now he's in government, and Wetangula has become the speaker, the demand for accountability for what they have done is high. And the young Turks might actually take advantage of that and put them down. Thank you.